All right, so you're just in time for another eBay unboxing, birthday extravaganza, another one of my birthday presents. And I always look at antiques as a form of investment. So I try to find things for pennies on the dollar to actually add to my collection for investment purposes and enjoyment purposes. So I try to actually have something I can leave my children one day. Well, my husband always says that he's going to, by the way, I have the object here. We're not going to look at it yet. My husband always says that if something ever happens to me, he's throwing every single one of my antiques into a dumpster. And I hope that doesn't happen. So you guys, if anything, God forbid, ever happens to me, please try to find my family and tell my husband not to do this, to give all this stuff to my kids so they can sell it and have an inheritance. All right, so what is it? So I just started getting into costume jewelry. And so how old is it? We're going to look at the back first. Generally, you can tell. Victorian always had sea catches. So this is telling me this is Victorian. And they would have had tube hinges. So it's 3 pieces and the hinge would be soldered on. Okay, so this is telling me this is Victorian up into about 1900. All right, let's do a flip. We're going to flip it over and see what the heck it is. Okay, this actually, oh, it's actually much nicer than I expected. This is actually porcelain, and it's a brooch, and it was painted on a porcelain plaque, a very high quality porcelain plaque, and I'm having a snafu over here. Oh my God, the sea catch got me. Okay, it's off. All right, let's go over what the heck this is, who this person is, and more about the value and history. All right, so on first glance, you'd say, oh, what an interesting woman. And this is not a woman. This is actually a painting of, actually after a famous artist. And this is actually a Neapolitan, yes, it's a Neapolitan gypsy child or gypsy fisherman. I think the name of the painting was The Fisherman. Now, you can see this is hand painted clearly. You can see the brush strokes as I let the light hit it in certain areas. We could see, yeah, definitely hand painting. This is not transferware. So when you look, as you can see the lights hitting it, you see all the brush strokes. When you look for these type of pieces, you're going to always look for pieces that are not transferware or decals that were painted over. You want something, now there's a little blemish. It looks like this, he has a little bit of a wart and a beauty mark over here. But that's, oops, that's quite to be expected. Oh, and it didn't land on heads. And what is the back made out of? Probably brass. I'm trying to look for a marking. Sometimes these are actually made out of 9K gold or plated gold. But I think I see a marking over here, like something was pressed into it. Let's try to see if we could see anything. It does look like some kind of mark. I will have to get a loop and look at that. But it could actually be an artist's mark or a factory mark for where the porcelain came from. This was actually most likely a piece of porcelain that somebody got as a blank. So a company would buy porcelain oval blanks, like from companies such as Lamage's in France. Lamage is not a brand. It's a place in France that had many, multiple porcelain factories, or companies in France such as Sèvres, or even German. Now, German porcelain such as Meissen, Dresden, made beautiful porcelain, quite rich and quite white. So this could either be German, and this is my guess, I'm no expert, German, Italian, or French. And I guess we'll never know. Now, who is this person? We'll go over that. I'll show you the original painting in a moment. And a lot of times in the Victorian era, especially with these miniature portraits, they're highly collectible, not only as brooches, but they have them in frames as well, on boxes, on all sorts of things. You'll find these little miniature portraits. A lot of people really highly collect these. These actually are very loved by many antique dealers and collectors and flippers alike, because they generally sell very quick. If you're reselling, people always want these pieces. And what is the value? So the value, okay, it actually has wear. It's not a problem. It's actually part of the history of it. So it has a patina to it, which is quite nice. The value. Okay, so generally if I was to sell this on eBay and wanting to flip this quick, probably 75 to 80 bucks. If I was to sell it in my Etsy shop, I would not let this go for less than $250 to $350. Why? Because I'm willing to wait a couple of years to sell this item, even though I only paid $30 for it. I'm one of those dealers. Well, I'm not a dealer anymore. I'm a collector more that used to hang on to my items to enjoy them and just put a high price on them. And somebody would eventually come along and actually buy the item at the high price. There's some people out there that don't comparison shop. They don't go around looking for similar items at lower prices. They just pay for it. They like it. They don't care about the price. All right, so let's look at the artist of this original painting that was repainted on a porcelain disc or plaque. By the way, KPM was another German porcelain manufacturer that actually, oh my God, collectors go crazy over KPM painted miniature portraits and portraits on porcelain plaques. So KPM could have been a maker of this porcelain as well. All right, let's check it out. Let's check out the original artist and what do pieces like this sell for. So I was able to get the blemish off of his forehead, the thing that looked like the big giant wart. Oh my God, that thing was driving me insane. And so we're going to find out more about this artist by the name of Gustav Richter, who probably painted this in about 1870. And the Gypsy boy or the Fisher. So there were loads of like after the artist, after Gustav Richter, pieces made during the Victorian era. And so we get brooches, we get plaques, miniature portrait plaques. The original painting looks like that. And as you can see, very feminized. Let's check it out. Let's see what the original painting by Richter Gustav Karl Ludwig, 1823 to 1884, Neapolitan boy. And that's what the original looked like. And that boy actually looks very feminine and confuses a lot of people when they're selling antiques. They think it's a woman with short hair, especially since there's an earring in the ear. Gypsies used to wear things like that, and boys. So that's why a lot of people get that mixed up and think that is a girl. So I'm just going to show you some of the examples you'll see of these little miniature portraits. This is teeny tiny, by the way. It looks huge in the picture. $435 for the Neapolitan boy after Gustav Richter. And you'll see a lot of Germans making these pieces, especially companies such as KPM. And you'll see other artists' renditions of Gustav Richter style, made in miniature portraits. By the way, this is teeny tiny. $399 for a teeny tiny Gustav Richter inspired painting of a Neapolitan child. And you see again, lady with hat. Pretty much it's a Neapolitan boy. You see boys' clothing and or a Tyrolean, maybe someone from Bavaria or something like that. And these are really, really tiny. And they came in little frames with little stands. And yes, that price is insane. So I was telling you about KPM Porcelain, which was a German manufacturer of fine porcelain items. They made a lot of different kinds of artistic plaques on porcelain in ornate frames. This one being a larger size one, which is 11.5 by 9.5, including the frame, sold for actually was estimated to sell for $3,000 to $5,000. And so here's another example, a 10K. Now, most of these came in low grade gold. 9K, 10K. The reasoning being is because the higher the carat of the gold, the more softer it is, and they needed to use a more much more tougher type of metal so that the jewelry pieces, the delicate jewelry pieces wouldn't bend up very easily. Now, a lot of times these are made out of rolled gold, gold filled, sterling silver, low quality silver like 800 silver or German silver, or brass. And they still, no matter what kind of material these plaques were placed on, it doesn't matter. They still get the price. This is 10K. You see a lot of scratches on this particular piece. It's not very well done. Not as well painted as mine. And this is a very lovely brooch. And you'll see good examples being sold for less. And, well, actually, this is not a very good example. I'm going to actually show you. You can see it's not painted that well. It looks sort of, shabby. But this one being sold for less. And it's so insanely funny right now because I just got an offer on eBay for one of these. Seller offer $124.99. Be the first to accept and get it. No, I already have one, thankfully. So 750 doll hairs for this oval plaque with a Gustav Richter Neapolitan boy being called a lady. It cracks me up every time. And again, another example of a brooch being sold for $395. It doesn't have much gold on it, and the gold is $10K. Again, really, the metal doesn't really matter. They will sell more if they have real gold and it's not plated, but pretty much the prices stay steady, whether it's brass or plated, silver, or non-precious metal. And yeah, this one is, I don't know, it's not that great. And again, we have another example of a 10K one, and it's not painted that wonderfully. And this is just, it doesn't even have that much metal content. $467.50. Here's another example of a Gustav Richter inspired piece of a boy. And they generally think these are girls, which is quite funny. $750, and this is a brooch. And yet we have another one being sold for $375. It is actually not even real gold. This is actually, the frame is crafted from yellow gold plated metal. Okay, so it's plated and it has a lot of scratches. You see all the damage all over this piece. This piece is really, really scratched up. Still being sold for $375, not even precious metal. And not last, we have one more to look at. This one is really heavily scratched up and damaged. You can see a lot of damage on this one. And because of that, and it's gold, actually gold filled, it's being sold for less. So condition, hand painting, no decals, no transfer wear, and the price goes up. And again, we have a gorgeous antique German plaque. This one being sold for $885. And it's quite lovely. Very, very good rendition of this actual artist's original painting. Okay, and here's one that looks identical to mine. It was probably made by the same company. Now, I did look under a loupe. It did have a marking on it of a company logo. $650. And you can see it doesn't have a metal frame going around it like mine. And $650. That's insane. But then again, people really want these. They really collect these, and they actually love these. Let's check out a closer picture. This one is gorgeous. Mine does not have the loop on it, but you can just get a converter on Amazon. I'll even show you one really quick. You can get a brooch converter in different colors. Place it over the pin part, and voila, you have an instant necklace. So once again, I hope you learned something. So we actually learned that it doesn't really matter if it's precious metal or not. Although, of course, it's going to get more money. The more real gold it has, the more the price is going to go up. But these still, in their own right, actually have a good value if they're hand painted, not transfer wear. You do not want a transfer wear piece. You want hand painted in relatively good condition on a piece of porcelain, and they will get the price. And what else did we find out? We found out that a lot of people think that this character is actually a woman, and now you know it's not. If you see this face when you collect antiques, you know that this is actually a gypsy boy. So once again, thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.